British philosopher Alan de Botton once said, as adults, we try to develop the character traits that would have rescued our parents. My father's eyes were just like balconies. Growing up in my house as a child, you were more likely to learn how to drive before you learned how to become vulnerable. We were clockwork. My $2 for lunch money placed on the television every single morning like clockwork, we were operational. And though my mother was a never-ending shade tree in the center of Venus, there always seemed to be this tension across the horizon. A subtle chaos beneath a calm stream. My brothers found consolation in the consoles of gaming systems. I fell in love with the drawing all over the walls. And I thank my mother to this very day for just allowing me to draw on the walls, but not all of them. I was designated canvas. And now that I look back, I realize she unknowingly taught me balance. My father was a lightning strike in the distance. A man who could dissect, rearrange, and reconstruct old school GTOs like grade school puzzles in the hands of a genius, and he always smelled like labor. Until it was time for a big enough occasion. Then his cologne would emanate through a room like an understood secret. His reputation in our small town was clean slated, known for the ability to fix your car and your spirit in the same day, and he was never late. Time was sacred. I learned from him the hard way that endurance is the only thing that separates patience from rage. I tasted his metal in my teeth for the first time when I was 8. At 11, he taught me the science of how easily my finger could break. This was the aftermath of a teacher calling saying that homework was late. But I laughed a bit too much in class that day. I watched my parents divorce long before they stood in front of the magistrate. I fell in love, slowly free fall head first between their knees onto the kitchen floor. Dinner time. Dinner time for us was not a round table for how our day went. Dinner time was the time for severance. Everybody moving to a different room. You could just breathe in the fumes of spaghetti and separation at the same time. And I keep getting this vivid image of me, no older than 2 or 3, sitting on my dad's lap, smiling as he steered a lawnmower. And for the life of me, I can't remember if it's memory of an actual event or if it's me just being selfish in my daydreams. Again, I never got the sweetheart, you're beautiful. There were no you'll always be daddy's little girls. He never told me I love you. I told my father I love you for the first time at 11:58 p.m., 2 minutes prior to my 24th birthday. And you will never truly understand the logic of distance until you've had to measure a silence, until you've heard the heartbeat of a pause, until you felt the skin of hesitation. I never died over a phone before. After the years, seconds, his I love you twos came as somewhat of a resurrection. It's fascinating how something you've never heard before becomes your favorite song. And as I've grown into a woman, I've grown to learn that just because someone isn't good with words doesn't mean that they are shortchanging you. The action, I am slowly, every day, learning to decode my father's language. Every how are your tires holding up is a sweetheart. I love you. Every let me know if you need money for groceries or anything, because you'll always be daddy's little girl. Every are your doors locked is an I love you. Every have you talked to your mother is an I wish I could talk to your mother. Every single, every I was just calling. Every I was just calling is a clef note to a song that we've never heard before but are desperately trying to rebuild. And I keep hearing this melody in my head.
Beautiful.
This is my toothless toddler bouncing happily on the knee of her grandpa. This is my husband and my father at family functions talking about car parts. This is forgiveness unhinging itself out of my wrist. This is a color scheme to a blind man. This is a 15-minute nap that cures a tummy ache. This is feeling the grab of your mother's hand again after you got lost in a crowd. This is redemption. This is fighting for something worth having.
All right,
Please don't confuse this as a manifesto of a girl whose childhood was folded in half. I do not play the blame game. I just want the simple things. Saying a phrase to him like dad instead of calling him by his government name in hopes that one day my arms will finally for the first time form the shape around his shoulders and he will feel me, and I will feel like a little girl again, or maybe for the first time. This is forgiveness unhinging itself out of my wrist. This is learning to get over your fear of balconies. This is learning how to dissect, how to rearrange, and how to reconstruct.